SportsBeat is brought to you by Ken Garth. We hear you.
Feeling in the world. Literally, there's nothing like it. 2 years in a row. Ah!
It's tough to beat the drama of the high school state basketball tournament. A great way to open SportsBeat. JJ and Sam with you for the next 45 minutes. Thurl Bailey's in studio. His thoughts on the Jazz recent struggles and how to fix their suddenly broken defense.
Plus, March Madness is here. A big week coming for the Aggies and Cougars. And did you know the Madness also includes the NFL Combine?
Sure, why not?
Wraps up with several local college stars giving their draft stocks a boost.
Yeah, but we will start with the NBA. Some great matchups on this Sunday, including LeBron James and the Lakers in the Big Easy, taking on Zion and the Pelicans.
Yeah, LeBron is one of 3 players in the history, joining Kareem and the Mailman to record 1,000 career 20-point games. Zion, he might get there one day. He's the first teenager in NBA history with 10 straight 20-point games. The future Hall of Famer against the future of the league. Second quarter, Zion is going to drop the hammer for a 3-point Pelicans lead. But you know what? LeBron's kind of looking at this and just comes right back the other way with a 35-foot three-pointer to tie the game at 61. How about it? Fourth quarter, Lakers down 1. Not anymore. LeBron drives in and dunks at home. Zion had a monster game, though. Throws down 2 of his career-high 35. LeBron puts this 3 right in Zion's eye, though, just to remind him who the king is. He had the triple-double, 34, 13, and 12. The Lakers are 46 and 13 with the 8-point win.
Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks had no trouble with the Charlotte Hornets as expected. Giannis looks like the favorite to repeat as MVP, although LeBron's giving him a run. That's just brilliant. Remarkable watching a 7-footer do what he does, and I'm pretty sure he's the only human that can do this. Covers 15 feet in 2 steps. The Greek Freak with 41 points, 20 rebounds. Yeah, that's right. A 40-20 game. Bucks now 52-8 on the season.
An Eastern Conference contender against a contender from the West. Clippers hosting the Sixers. Ben Simmons out. Joel Embiid out. Shake Milton. He becomes the hero, right? He was great today. A career-high 39 points, was 7-9 from 3. But the Clippers get 30 out of Kawhi Leonard, 24 from Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell off the bench. And the Clippers now 41-19, 3.5 games ahead of the Jazz.
Nuggets hosting the Raptors. Jamal Murray had 22 points. He was 6 of 10 from the three-point line, 5 for 5 in the first half. The Nuggets made their first 9 three-point attempts, and they did more than just make threes. Oh, my goodness. Will Barton dishes to Jeremy Grant, who puts Rondae Hollis-Jefferson on a poster. One of the best dunks of the year in the NBA. Grant had 16. Then there's Nikola Jokic, who looks like he should be throwing passes at the NFL Combine. That is incredible. The Joker with 23, 18, and 11. Jokic now has 43 career triple-doubles. Nuggets win by 15. All right, an update of the Western Conference standings shows the Nuggets and Clippers now tied for second in the West at 41-19. The Red Hot Rockets a game and a half back and fourth, and the Jazz sit at fifth, just a half game ahead of the Thunder. Now to the Jazz. That 4-game losing streak was rough. 4 bad losses at home by an average of 12.5 points. The Jazz plummeted from 4th to 6th in the Western Conference standings in less than a week. It wasn't pleasant. So it sounds weird, but Friday night's game against the lowly Washington Wizards felt like a must-win. A 5-game losing streak followed by a 4-game road trip would have been brutal. It wasn't perfect, but the Jazz finally put that losing streak to an end. They trailed at the half. Bradley Beal was incredible, scoring 42 points and 10 assists, but the Jazz took control in the fourth quarter and led by as much as 15.
We got to stay locked in. We can't take these games for granted. We're kind of behind the 8 ball from All-Star break. You know, it feels good to get this win, but we can't be satisfied. I think we're focused on the trip.
Losing streak, always going to win. It's always better for us. It's just coming in the locker room after the game. It's a different vibe, a different feeling.
You know, it's not always going to be perfect. You know, you can't just come in here and think you're going to, you know, win by whatever amount. So, like for us, just continuing to stay with it. And, you know, they made a push, they made a few runs, but you know, we didn't get too down ourselves.
Now, Donovan Mitchell was incredible. 30 points, 8 rebounds, shot 4 of 6 from 3. This was his 4th straight game with 30 points or more, the longest 30-point game streak of his NBA career.
I think the biggest thing is just like, just wanting to win, go out there and make plays. I'm not really, like I said, I didn't know that till you told me. Just going out there and just trying to be aggressive. You knew that, right? I didn't. This one, just short memory, just keep shooting. Just go out there and just continue to be aggressive, not really worry about, what happens. Just trying to find a way to win, make the winning plays.
Now the Jazz embark on a 4-game East Coast road trip. Cleveland Monday, the Knicks Wednesday, Boston Friday, and the trip ends in Detroit Saturday. 3 of those 4, the Jazz will be favored and should win. We know how that's going lately. A chance to rack up wins, build confidence, and restore that team chemistry on the court that made the Jazz so good earlier this season.
It's a good opportunity for us to get on the road, kind of like find ourselves as a group again, and we got a lot of opportunities. We just got to keep getting better and get those wins one at a time.
Getting out there, being able to, go to dinners, chill, hang out all off the court and stuff like that as well. And just kind of keep things going and continue to grow as a team. And you grow off the court, it helps on the court as well.
Things got very quiet in the Jazz locker room during that 4-game skid, which is why it was so good to see the Jazz having fun again before and after the game. We got another dual press conference from Donovan Mitchell and Royce O'Neal, which always delivers something memorable.
Feels good to get this win, but can't be satisfied. I think we're focused on the trip.
Royce, do you echo that?
I don't even remember what he said. So I think, this next game's sound like George, right? We got to go out there and do it.
Jeez, that's George.
What's up?
Hey,
you was singing back there? Me and Joe got this connection on the court. Me and Joe got this connection on the court where, he was like, I'm not giving up the 3 and I'm going to make him drive into you. And I was like, all right, I'm going to come help side. And I just got the block and made a great play. Did you know he was Dean's List in college? Y'all didn't know that? He
sure.
made that grammar mistake.
I sure did. Are we still in school?
I'm just saying.
Are we still in school? Are we still in school?
You said join me.
Yeah, whatever. It's like great.
It's officially March, so let the madness begin. The regular season in the West Coast Conference is history. Time now to focus on the conference tournament. But first, before we move on, let's recognize the greatness of Yoli Childs. BYU trailed in Malibu at the half Saturday, but Yoli wasn't going to let the Cougars trip up after that monster win over Gonzaga. He was brilliant. 38 points on 17 of 27 shooting, 14 rebounds. He also made a 3. That 38 a career high. Yoli may have done more than win a game Saturday. In my opinion, he should be the West Coast Conference Player of the Year. His play against Pepperdine should have locked it up. If he doesn't win, the voters got it wrong. The bracket is set for the WCC tourney. BYU won't play until the semifinals on Monday, March 9th at 9:30 p.m. Mountain Time. The championship game set for March 10th at 7 p.m. Mountain.
Well, after thumping San Jose State on Tuesday, bracketologist Joe Lunardi had the Aggies projected as high as the 10th seed in the NCAA tournament. But then last night happened down at the pit in New Mexico. The Aggies taking on New Mexico, and they lost to the Lobos by 2 points in that contest. But not all is lost for the hopes of a tournament berth. They just don't have much room for error. As of tonight, Utah State still one of Lunardi's last 4 in. The Aggies also still go into the Mountain West tournament this week as the number 2 seed. With that number 2 seed comes a first-round bye. The Aggies set to play at 7 p.m. Mountain Time in the second round of the tournament on Wednesday. There, they very well could get a rematch with New Mexico, who faces San Jose State in the first round. I'll join the KSL Sports team in Las Vegas for both the Mountain West and WCC tournaments. You can catch all that coverage on KSL 5 TV and KSLSports.com.
Madness has already started for the Utah State women at the Mountain West Conference Tournament. This is Haley Bassett from Layton High School, the game-winning bucket. The Aggies stunned San Diego State in the first round. They are moving on. Congratulations to Utah State. All right, from hoops to gymnastics. The number 4 Red Rocks on the road Sunday at Washington. This is Kim Tesson on the vault with a 9.925. Where the Red Rocks really excelled was on floor. Sydney Solosky with a 9.95 that was followed by Missy Reinstadler with a career-high 9.975. They still trailed entering their final routine, the beam. But they get 3 straight 9.95s from Crystal Isa, Adrian Randall, and Abby Polson to eke out a very close victory. They win by .075 and clinch the Pac-12 regular season title.
SportsBeat is brought to you by Ken Garth. We hear you.
All right, let's dial up this week's play of the day. It's officially March Madness. A Big East battle between Xavier and Georgetown came down to that shot. Najee Marshall drills the 3 with a little more than 4 seconds to go. Xavier, the winners, 66-63.
Let's go to Pac-12 play. Stanford gets a big win to boost their NCAA at-large hopes. Oscar Da Silva with a great pass to Jaden Dallaire for the dazzling dunk. Colorado ranked 23rd in the nation, but Stanford looked like the better team. How about the hustle? Spencer Jones dives for the loose ball and leads to a Da Silva dunk. The Runnin' Utes host Colorado Saturday in the regular season finale. If the Pac-12 tournament started today, the Utes would face Stanford in the first round in Vegas.
All right, well, it was starting to sound a little bit like a broken record in the Jazz locker room. They needed to be more physical. They needed to have a better defensive effort. They needed to get out quicker at the beginning of the game. Maybe none of that is what they needed. I don't know. As the losses were piling up, though, the Jazz told us this week that maybe they've been going about it, getting those wins the wrong way. It's clear they've got the talent on the roster to win, so stop thinking so much and just play Jazz basketball, right?
Sometimes we are worried about wrong. We got to start with our defense, and whatever we do offensively, we will be fine because we got a talented group and always on the court. So defensive end is what we have to take care of.
And you attribute it to guys focusing on the wrong sometimes.
Is that what he said?
That's what he said.
What a legend. Can I just give the same answer to Boyan? Because that's a great The coaches can't go out there and do it. You guys can't go and defend for us as much as we would never do that anyway, because the media would be horrible. I don't think anyone here would be. No, you guys would all stink.
We're always excited to have Big T, Thurl Bailey in the SportsBeat studio, but especially today because he's got an announcement to make. You're joining the KSL sports team. I'll let you let the audience know what you're going to be doing for us.
Well, I'm starting a podcast, and KSL's partnered with me on my podcast, and it's about stories. I mean, you think about stories, it's probably one of the most famous human traditions is storytelling. And it's about the journey. And so I'm going to take my listeners on the journey every week. Some will be sports, some will be other arenas. So I might get you on there to tell some of your stories.
My stories are not as good as your stories, but I can't wait to hear yours. Thurl Talk begins Tuesday, March 3rd. We're excited about this. We look forward to getting your wisdom, your stories, and your insight. I want to pick your brain on the Utah Jazz right now. Exactly. This is going to be, it's probably, I wish we were talking a month ago. It would have been a lot more pleasant, but things are obviously a little bit different now. This team's so up and down, Thurl.
Yeah.
You played the game. You know how this goes during a season, but this is really extreme where they had 19 of 21 wins, and then you have these streaks of losing. Who are these guys? Can you put your finger on it?
Well, that's the question. That really is the question.
Yeah.
I think that they have to answer themselves. Who are they? And nobody ask a lot of questions, obviously, when things are going right, and we know who they are. So all it really is about for this Jazz team is getting back to that. And when you're on the outside of that and you're a fan, you're in Jazz Nation, you're just wondering, well, what's wrong? Who's the blame? And it really is a collective blame. I mean, each guy has to step up. I think, from a basketball standpoint, it's the defense.
Yeah.
I mean, you're giving up 120 points a game after All-Star break. Towards the beginning, mid-season, you were one of the best defensive teams in the league. And so there's enough scorers on that team that I'm not ever worried about scoring. Donovan may be off one night, Bogey may be off, but there's enough guys in the system to do well on the offensive end. But even if you're not shooting well, if your defense is up to par, teams aren't going to come in your house and score 60 points in the paint if you're the Phoenix Suns. So that just can't happen when you've got especially one of the best defenders in the league, and Rudy Gobert. Now, it's just not all about him, But I mean, you heard Coach Quinn Snyder talk about it's a collective effort.
That's what's so strange about this, is because during this Quinn Snyder era, when Rudy's been there the entire way, you counted on the defense. You didn't worry about the defense. And so as a former NBA player, maybe can you explain to the audience how a team can go from playing defense a certain way to all of a sudden having these issues? And like you said, Quinn talked about a collective commitment.
Yeah.
Why is that collective commitment there one moment and then gone the next?
Because I think sometimes, and it happened in my era when we had Mark Eaton.
Yeah.
You had a luxury of having a big guy in the lane that you knew was going to protect you. If your guy got by you, help me, Mark. Oh, he was there, right? And so sometimes you get too complacent with that. You get used to that, knowing that if you get beat, you've got Rudy's help. But teams are getting smarter now. They're trying to draw Rudy out, right? They're taking more chances of going inside, hoping that Rudy helps, and nobody helps Rudy, and somebody else scores. So you've got to give other teams credit. I mean, that's why they scout you. That's why they try to come up with all these different offenses to get past a guy like Rudy. You look at what Houston's doing right now with smaller players, and they're able to be effective. Yeah.
This is the kind of insight you're going to get on Thurl Talk. This has been great, Thurl.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Happy to have you on the team.
Job. Thank you, bud.
Tuesday, March 3rd. Download the Thurl Talk podcast.
Well, as a passionate fan base, it's easy to see how Jazz Nation can get caught up in the frustration of a losing streak. But the Jazz were able to table that skid and remind us all that there are things far more important than basketball. Several players paid a visit to several kids and their families at Primary Children's Hospital this past week. Lots of perma-smiles on everyone's faces after that day.
It helps you take your mind off basketball and, just cherish the good moments in life. Just put on a smile on everybody's faces and enjoy the moments.
You're gonna get him some food? There we go.
I love to do all of this just to make those kids happy. All kids are pure heart. Like they're really happy to see us. So it's great to be here and play with all of them.
I love it. Well, there's nothing quite like those championship moments in high school sports. We'll recap the raw emotion of the basketball title games over the weekend. That's coming up right after this.
Championship week for Utah High School basketball is in the books. 8 state championship games Saturday in 6A, 5A, 4A, and 1A hoops, both boys and girls.
Yeah, the action's so good. Donovan Mitchell even had to be there at the Huntsman Center for it all.
In the semifinal game, Fremont star Dallin Hall scored 38 points, so Davis was focused on locking him down in the title game. Hall had a slow start against the Darts, but he knocks down the 3 there. And everything he did was matched by Trevin Lionheart from Davis. It was a defensive battle in the first quarter, but in the second, Fremont attacks in transition. Hall puts some English on it, and Donovan Mitchell shows him some love, tweeting, "Shout out number 30 on Fremont. He's a hooper." He is. He wasn't done. Second half, tied at 34. Hall hits the step back 3. Lionheart answers. He finished with 16 points. Fremont lead to 1. Talmadge Mitchell with the steal, finds Hall for the slam. Donovan likes that. Hall did a great job getting his teammates involved. 11 assists, and finds Mitch Stratford in the corner for 3. And when it mattered, Dallin delivered, tied with 3 minutes and change to go. Knocks down the jumper. Donovan likes what he's seeing. Dallin with another highlight, this time the dish to Baylor Harrop to take a 53-51 lead. Davis will get the final shot, though. 10 seconds left. Down 3 for the tie. But it's long. Hall gets the rebound, and Fremont gets to celebrate. They lost twice to Davis in the regular season, but win the one that matters most.
We did it. I mean, we've been working at it all year. We said it every break we got after practice, and we believed it, even though we've had some lows and highs, and now it's here. And I'm just gonna have the greatest night of my life so far.
Holy cow! When Dallin got that rebound and then just chucked it up in the air, it was just pure joy, man. I mean, these guys are so fired up. It's so awesome.
This is a dream come true with all my brothers, and I'll remember this for life.
How cool is this? Dallin Hall, likely this year's Utah Mr. Basketball, gets to meet Donovan Mitchell after the game while holding the state championship trophy. My guess is he will never forget whatever happened during this conversation. And what a cool moment. And thanks to Royce O'Neal for this. He posted this video on Instagram. Donovan wearing his brand new Fremont Silverwolves hoodie on the team flight to Cleveland as the Jazz begin their 4-game roadie. That hoodie is pretty sweet, I got to admit. In fact, I'd wear that too if I was him.
Looking good on Donovan. 6A girls final. Fremont was up against defending state champ Bingham. If 30 on the boys team is impressive, check out Tamea Gardner. She's just a sophomore. She had 15 points in the first half, including the knockdown 3 to beat the buzzer at the end of the first quarter. But Bingham had a special 1-2 punch. Sierra and JC Lickgy. Sierra with the 3 ball. She finished with 18. And JC fights down low to get 2 of her 15. She also had 4 steals in the game. Fremont trailed by 6 at the half, but a strong second half would help them get the lead. Samantha Holman puts Bingham up 5 with the 3 ball there. And the Miners never trailed again. Bingham back-to-back 6A champs.
I love JC. I don't know, I think this team just battled for it, and that's why we got it. Miners, Tupi. We love each other. This is our team. Let's go. I love you. Let's go. I don't know, it's way sweeter. It's so fun to just be with my best friends and to know that we did that together. And 2 beats obviously harder, so we know we're the best. So
we got a second one for our seniors. Like my sister, my best friends. Like it's just so fun. It's so surreal.
I freaking love her. Like I'm so glad that I got 2 of them with her because this is something that I'll remember forever. And going out to college is gonna be so sad not to see her every day. But I love her.
The best feeling in the world. Literally, there's nothing like it. 2 years in a row. Ah!
5A boys, Springville and Timpview for the title. Springville took control late in the first half and never looked back. Zachary Visenton, the and 1. Red Devils led by 13 at the break. Cooper Riggs knocks down the 3. He had 13. Springville wins the 5A boys state title 66-53.
I can't compare it to anything. It's the best feeling in the entire world. I've worked my whole life for this, and everyone on my team has worked so hard for this.
We got 8 seniors that have worked so hard for this. We put in so much time, and there's no better way to end this.
Ecstatic. I love them all. They're all fantastic kids, and I would do anything for them. And to have the opportunity to help them get to this point is just, it's priceless.
All right, how about the 5A girls? This game was decided between Springville and Highland. Final seconds of the first quarter, Leigh McCowie lets it fly to beat the horn. And then her teammate went up, so her final seconds of the half, Bria Nealman. She's gonna beat the buzzer. Highland led by 13. In the second half, freshman Sose Lange, the steal, coast to coast for the lane. She had 9 points. The Rams were led by Kaija Glasker, who had 14 points in the game, and Highland winning their first state title since 1984.
Definitely, I've worked my butt off, and I know my team has also worked their butt off to get to where we are. So I'm just very grateful and just thankful for everyone who's been along the journey.
It's overwhelming of gratefulness, happiness, just to play with everyone and being a freshman. It's an honor to play with them and win the state championship. I just started crying because I played this game for my uncle this week. So yeah, it's just great.
So much emotion. 4A boys state championship. Skyview trying to repeat as champs. Dixie had other plans. Let's go to the fourth quarter. Dixie's Jeffrey Cox spins, draws the foul, and scores. That cuts Skyview's lead to 1 with 6 minutes left. Mason Falls at a game high 22. The future Ute puts his team back up 3. We have a battle back and forth. Isaac Finlinson scoops and scores, giving the Flyers the lead. Sam Phipps takes the lead back for Skyview with 90 seconds left. Huge play here, less than a minute remaining. Ethan Bennett and 1. Dixie led by 2, 11 seconds left. Anderson Rich with the steal of his life. Dixie upsets Skyview to win the boys 4A championship, the 6th championship in school history, first since 2016.
Cedar and Pineview in the 4A girls championship game. Macy Torgeson led Cedar with 14 points and 8 rebounds, knocks down a pair of 3-pointers for her squad. Japri Weaver had 11 points and 8 rebounds, and Samantha Johnson added 10 points for the Reds. She also had 6 assists and 5 boards. Cedar repeats as the 4A state champs. They finished with a 24-2 record.
You know what? It's been such a long journey. We've played so many games. Our girls have fought so hard. It just seems like this is all a good culmination of the whole year.
He said it will be the happiest, but also one of the saddest days of our lives, and I don't think any of us really had thought about the sad part yet. So we were all just bawling, but it definitely is so exciting.
1A Boys State Championship, Bryce Valley and Panguitch down 3 with 2 minutes left. Bryce Valley's Sergio Vasquez. We got overtime, 50 seconds left. Panguitch takes the lead. Clint Fulmer with a game-high 13, but Bryce Valley would get the last shot as time expires.
To Roberts. Roberts shot up.
That's Trayson Roberts. He's the hero, the shot of his life. The Mustangs beat the buzzer in overtime to win the 1A state title, the 3rd in school history.
I was just praying that thing went in. I saw it. I put the touch on it. I knew it was going to hit the back of the rim. But I just watched that thing. I said, oh, please, please go in. As soon as I saw the ball fall through the net, no time left on the clock, I knew we had it. Oh, my goodness.
You can breathe now.
Oh, that's amazing. All right, 1A Girls State Championship, Milford and Rich. Milford takes a 30-25 lead in the 3rd when Kinsey Williams scores 2 of her 16. Rich answers. Terrific drive by McKinney Stacy. She led the Rebels with 18. Milford up 3 with 5 minutes left when Elisa Woolsey rebounds the missed free throw and scores it. She had 15, and for the first time in school history, the Milford girls basketball team are state champions.
I didn't have a doubt in my mind from the second we walked on the court that we were going to take it. It's been our dream since 5th grade, and we just took it to them for every minute, and it didn't matter who had fouls, and it didn't matter who was on the court, and we believed in each other, and we did it. We took it.
Congrats to all the winners. That Bryce Valley buzzer beater got us thinking about some of the other great buzzer beaters that we can remember from state tournaments of the past.
Yeah, we came up with more than 5, but only the best made the cut for this week's top 5.
Springville Red Devils needed not 1 but 2 buzzer beaters in the state tournament. The first came against Trevenel and Woods Cross in the quarterfinals. Bennett Hollinger ranked in a 3-pointer at the buzzer. Then in the championship game, they were huge underdogs against Ryland Jones and Olympus. Seth Mortensen hit a buzzer beater to tie the game and force overtime. They get 2 free throws with 2 seconds left in double OT to win their first state title since 1958.
Way before the mustache and mullet, Zach Celius was a hero for Bountiful. They won the 2015 4A state title. They were trailing Murray the entire game and down 1 with just seconds left. Splash! He had 30 in that game. The 1 seed avoided an embarrassing ending.
You hit the game-winning shot in a state championship game. Can you describe what that feels like?
It's what you dream about your whole life. In your backyard, taking those shots, it's everything.
2006 5A state championship, Riverton tied the game on a free throw with 11 seconds left, but Bingham's Brett Somerville drills a 10-footer at the buzzer to give Bingham a state title.
He casts it off. It's good. It's good. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Oh my, it took a miracle from Jalen Moore in overtime to knock off Sam Merrill and Bountiful. After upsetting Bountiful, Skyview went on to beat rival Mountain Crest for the 4A state title back in 2013.
Bradley and Emory versus Ryan Cuff and Richfield. It came down to that in overtime. Emory's Steve Gordon from, gosh, I don't know, 60 feet. What a shot to win the 1989 Class 2A state title. Great clips are next. We begin the best of the week with a double buzzer beater. NAIA Hoops in Indiana. Grace thinks they've won the game when Charlie Warner hits a half-court shot, but there's still a second on the clock. Taylor's Mason Degenkob did that. Oh, heartbreak for the home team. Woo.
Hey, we've seen Mike Trout crush baseballs on the diamond. Have you ever seen him crush a golf ball off the tee?
God. Do they even know where that landed?
Somewhere in outer space. Mike Trout.